Your parents said television would rot your brain. A new study seems to prove them right. People who reported watching TV very often in midlife had smaller brain structures more than 2 decades later. But the study never showed the brain shrinking, and that one distinction changes the entire story. Researchers analyzed data from about 1,700 participants in the long-running atherosclerosis risk in communities study. When the participants first reported their habits between 1987 and 1989, their average age was about 53. They were asked how frequently they watched television during leisure time, using categories from never or seldom to very often. They also reported how much of their workday they spent sitting. More than 20 years later, they underwent brain MRI scans. Compared with the people in the lowest television category, frequent viewers had smaller volumes in several regions, including frontal and occipital areas, and regions associated with memory. They also had a greater volume of white matter hyperintensities. White matter hyperintensities are bright areas that appears on certain MRI sequences. They are often associated with cerebral small vessel disease, aging, and higher risk of cognitive decline. But they are not a diagnosis on their own. The associations remained after the researchers statistically adjusted for factors including exercise, diabetes, body mass index, smoking, and alcohol use. Then came the stranger result. People who reported sitting more at work did not show the same pattern. In some analysis, occupational sitting was associated with larger frontal and occipital volumes and fewer white matter abnormalities. That does not prove desk work protects the brain, but it suggests that sitting may be too broad a category. What you are doing while sitting could matter also. Now, for the detail that most viral headlines will lose. This was an observational study. It can identify a long-term association, but it cannot establish that television caused the brain differences. Television viewing was self-reported and measured as a frequency category, not as a precise number of daily hours. More importantly, the participants did not receive MRI scans at the beginning. Without baseline imaging, the researchers could not directly show that an individual brain becomes smaller over time. Reverse causation is also possible. Early health, behavioral, or cognitive differences could influence both television habits and later brain structure. Sleep, social isolation, depression, diet, and the kind of content watched may also matter. Most of the reported associations were also concentrated in men, which needs further investigation. So, the accurate conclusion is not that television shrinks your brain, it is that very frequent television viewing in midlife was associated with structural brain differences more than 20 years later. That is still worth paying attention to because it challenges the idea that every sedentary activity has the same effect. A passive evening in front of a screen, a difficult book, a strategy game, and a desk job may all involve sitting, but not the same kind of mental activity. This study does not prove that television rots the brain. It suggests that how long were you sitting may be the wrong question. A better question might be while your body was still, what was your brain being asked to do? For more science without the hype, subscribe to my channel of Science and Other Demons.